Menteri Rangba ka Jylla Meghalaya konrad kes sangma hakakan riteri kala lingkot arjar pulai uloong. Ba ka Jylla Meghalaya kalanang yai jam ban pentrai kam dak jing start science hakakam ti dewïong hadin ba katanat kam ti dewïong ka Sorkar India kala menjur yaki kai phot jaka balapha dagi saungot kinong ti dewïong nang ka Jylla. Menteri Rangba uloong bah ka jing yalang badangsyan ka Sorkar India katanat kam dewïong kala ai jing tho halor ki kai phot dagi saungot kinong ti dewïong bat menjur ru yaki. Uloong begini kisah ngut kin sapai ki mining plan kat kum ki kendon ke Sorkar Jylla bat ke Sorkar India rukum jo.
I just have one very important agenda that I would like to share with all of you and especially with the people of the state. This is in regards to the granting of mining licenses in the state of Meghalaya. And as you are aware, that earlier the government of Meghalaya had filed a case in the Supreme Court against the ban that was imposed on coal mining in the year 2014 by the NJT. And since then, there were no concrete steps that were taken to lift the ban on the coal mining. It was only when this government had come in that we had taken up the matter in the Supreme Court, and the case was filed in Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court had given a landmark judgment during that time where we had been able to ensure that the ownership of the land, both surface and subsurface, will be vested with the local tribal residents of the state. And based on that, the ban on the coal mining was lifted. But in the same process, there were certain procedures were laid down through which mining could take place. And hence the process of scientific mining was brought in to the state, which based on the Supreme Court order, we had to move forward with. Based on that, many applicants came in, and of course before that happened, the government of Meghalaya along with the government of India had framed rules in the year 2022 in March, where standard operating procedures for prospecting licenses and mining licenses for coal in the state of Meghalaya was formed. Once these SOPs were set up, we had received in the last couple of years total of 17 applicants for prospecting licenses. And after that, these prospecting licenses, 17 applicants was sent to the government of India. In a recent meeting that was held by the government of India, the government of India has, the Ministry of Coal, has finally given us in writing where the geological reports of the state that have been submitted by 4 of the miners has been approved by the government of India. Once these geological reports are approved, this is one step away from the mining license to now be given. And hence, these 4 applicants now, whose geological reports now have been approved by Government of India, will submit their mining plans as per the norms laid down by Government of Meghalaya and Government of India. And we expect that the licenses should shortly be given to these 4 miners or these 4 applicants. And this communication has come, as I said, from the Government of India to the respected miners and the people who have applied. And hence, this is a major step forward towards now opening up the mining in a scientific manner. And we are very, very hopeful that very soon that this the scientific process for mining will start in the state. As I said, that this was a very long and tedious process, as it required us to first of all lift the ban, create the SOPs. Once the SOPs were created, we needed to proceed with that forward. There were certain terms and conditions that were laid down by Government of India which we had to then fulfill, and the miners had to fulfill. Prospective licenses had to be done, geological reports and surveys had to be made, and all of these issues had really a lot of work had to be put into it. But as I said, now we are at a final stage where very soon the first four mining licenses will be granted to the landowners and to the licensees who are the local residents, so that the scientific mining can start. So this is a major step forward, and I am very hopeful that very soon we should be able to see the scientific process of mining starting, with these geological reports being approved by the central government. So these are, I don't have the details from which part, because these are all applicants that were given to Government of India. Through us, of course, but I don't have those details of which locations they are in. But these are all blocks, so I can name those blocks to you. First is the final geological report of number 1, Kyrwoh block, number 2, Nelang block, number 3, Saringkman A block, and number 4, Pindenchashlang block. I'm presuming these are names of miners. These 4 miners, their geological reports, as I said, has been cleared by the GR approval committee. The procedure will follow, because these were the ones who applied first. So theirs has moved. Now as the others will move, others will follow. But I think what is important is that the process has now started, and now things are falling into place. And this was a major, major part of the entire process. And as I said, this is a really great news for the entire coal sector in the state, and for all the miners who have really suffered for a very, very long time, and which has led to a lot of huge economic losses for the people. And more importantly, these people have suffered a lot in the beginning, because earlier, when the ban was put in, no steps were taken to really lift the ban at that point in time. And it was only in the government that the steps were taken. And we have put in a lot of hard work into this, and we are happy to see that we are finally seeing the results of this. And as I said, we are just a step away now from the final mining lease or mining plan being approved. No, we have always been very clear that anybody who breaks the law, then the law will take its own course, and there are provisions under the MMDR Act based on which action will be taken against those. So the point being that now that this process has moved forward, and now that we are seeing that they are one step away from scientific mining to start, I hope that we will not see individuals now break the law and do things that are not to be done in an illegal manner. Sorry? No, there won't be any quantity slab. No. I mean, as far as my knowledge is right now, I don't know the details of that, but the only condition that was there earlier, which was put in by Government of India, was that they have to be minimum of 100 hectares, if I'm not wrong. A reasonable size of the mine was there, which was something that the local miners had requested that the number could be brought down. But then we tried our best to do that, but we realized that while we try to do that, it's only going to delay the things further. So we felt that let's not delay things further. Let us move forward. At least let us start with certain level of mining, and then slowly start amending it as we move along. So it's easier to amend later on once things are in place. So right now we were struggling, and we were challenged with the entire, this whole situation where a new process had to be put in. new process to be put in. All that has been now changed. There is, as I said, the 32 lakh metric ton was what was approved by the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court had given a procedure on which it should be transported and auctioned out, and all those processes are being followed, and they are very tedious in nature because it requires a lot of technical aspects, and the Supreme Court is very particular, Coal India is very particular, and so therefore the process was delayed a bit, but it is on track now, and auctioning is going on as we speak, and it will continue also in the future. Yeah, so we have asked them to do in fact the court and Katoki himself had asked Mr. Katoki had asked for the the drone surveys to be done. So all those have been done and reports have been submitted.
Rilum jungi mentala dei kapor ka jingkela kisur ngin pen sawala wan kapor ka jingkela Rilum jungi mentala dei kapor ka jingkela kisur ngin pen sawala wan kapor ka jingkela